What's going on, Panther Nation? It is your boy, Big Q, TeamBoydTV, man. And I had some technical difficulties last night. I wanted to do the Black and Blue podcast on YouTube like I did last week. I wanted to do it last night, man, because I wanted to get a chance to, first of all, hook up with a lot of my Panther fam, because you guys have been tremendous this season, man. And everybody's like, well, why are you doing a Black and Blue podcast? You guys are out of the playoffs, this, that, and the third. But, man, ain't no way in the world I could have just let us just sit around and not celebrate the fact of our accomplishments this season, man. It was like, it was amazing. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much what we're going to do in this podcast today. And again, I didn't really let a lot of people know that I was going on air today, man, because I really wanted to do this last night and that kind of thing, man. And so I don't know how many people are going to be joining me live today, but hey, listen, man, if you are if you happen to see it on Twitter, because I did share it on Twitter, if you did happen to see the link or whatever, you decided you wanted to check it out and see, and join me right here today, it's all gravy, man. You can still, make a little few comments and whatnot on Twitter, man. Hit me up at TeamBoydTV and that kind of thing. And if you're checking it out on Spreaker, man, even if you're watching or listening on the Spreaker app, you can still leave a comment in the chat box over there and that kind of thing. But, for the most part, man, I just really had some things that I wanted to get off my chest. I wanted to sit it and, look back on our season, man, and kind of, maybe look a little forward. I don't really want to look too forward. I don't want to look too far into the future, only because of the fact that, it's the season is just now over. We still got a lot of things, free agency, draft, combine, all that stuff. So we still got all that stuff to talk about. So I don't want to look too far. It's a few things I want to address, though. We'll do that in a little bit. A few things I want to address about looking forward and whatnot. But honestly, though, for the most part, man, I just wanted to come on here today, mainly because this is going to be pretty much the last broadcast for our season, I guess you want to say. I don't know when we'll be coming back. We'll probably come back. I think I'm going to take a little bit of time. Man, I've been burned out this football season, man, we started the Black and Blue podcast like in April. And then, in July, I think we started up TeamBoydTV Live with the divisional breakdowns and whatnot. Then the regular season started, man, and we had TeamBoydTV Game Time and TeamBoydTV Live and the Black and Blue podcast and the Shield podcast. It was a lot of work. I am, and it's funny for me saying this because, I'm one of them kind of dudes that's around this time of year, I'm usually so burned out on the NFL that I'm usually anticipating the season being over because, your boy need a break. I'm saying I don't know if y'all guys understand the amount of work that me and my team puts in during the football season. We put in an extraordinary amount of work, only because, number one, we love the NFL. That's what we do. The other thing is, we're really passionate about the NFL, and we like sharing our opinions and our thoughts with you guys. And, another reason why we put in so much work is because you guys give us so much support, and you guys show us so much love. And so the more you guys tune into what we're doing, the more things we want to do. And me, you guys who know me, y'all know I'm always cooking up something. And, I can't wait. See, and it's weird. It is so weird that right now I'm feeling man, I am so glad that the season is coming to an end because I can take a little bit of a break. But at the same time, the way my mind works, I'm already thinking about how we're going to do things next season. But that's a long way off, man. That's 6 or 7 months away and that kind of thing. But right now, man, excuse me, I wanted to come and do this final Black and Blue broadcast because I felt like, number one, I wanted to address Panther Nation, again, because of the loyalty you guys have shown, the support that you guys have shown, just the sheer amount of pride you guys have taken in the season. I'm proud of the team, but I'm also proud of you guys because, you know, it's one of them things where you see other fans from other, you know, teams and they do things or whatever, but nobody does it like we do. You know what I mean? Carolina Panther fans, man, you know, I don't know if we the most passionate, you know, because it's hard for me sometimes to see outside of my Carolina Panthers bubble. You know what I mean? But from what I see, man, like, and there's Carolina Panthers fans everywhere. And, you know, the guys are amazing, man. I seen, and I'm gonna give a couple of shout outs, you know, like NFL Panthers 07 with these, amazing, like super ridiculously amazing trailer videos that he put out all season long, man. If you guys have not checked them out on YouTube, go to YouTube, type in NFL Panthers 07. This dude is amazing, you know, and the trailers were top notch all season long, man. There's guys like, Tony Dunn and Joey Riolano, man, who have been putting in a tremendous amount of work on their website and on their podcast. They even had, you know, interviewed Bené Ben-Wickery last week. And, you know, just to see the amount of work that those guys are putting in on their own is completely and utterly amazing. I want to give a shout out to my man, Pat Coltrane, man. I think I'm pretty sure he just came on the scene this season. At least I just found out about him this season. You talk about entertainment. You know, this guy is one of the most creative Carolina Panthers fans I think I've ever seen, with the whole split personality, tickety tap thing. Kept us laughing and rolling and, you know, all season long. Shout out to Pat Coltrane. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I cannot wait to see what you got lined up for next season. You know, my man Panther Nasty. Oh, goodness, man. You talk about some dude that's been out there on the front lines getting it in, telling it to people straight, you know, just giving them nothing but the raw and realness. And that's, you know, Panther Nasty is a really good name for this dude because he gets raw. And, you know, seeing this guy out there on the front lines defending our colors against these crazy people from other fan bases, much respect to Panther Nasty. You know, shouts go out to him. My man, the voice 2525. Everybody know him, man. He is probably one of the loudest, most in your face Panther fans I think I have ever met, and it's been a pleasure rocking with him this season, man. He was with us on the last couple Black and Blue podcasts, getting it in, and he is always doing his thing, you know, doing interviews at radio stations and all that cool stuff, man. His name is The Voice, and it ain't by accident, man. He is loud, but he is pretty much the voice of Panther Nation. And, you know, that's a distinctive honor, you know what I mean? To be the guy that people think about when they think about Carolina Panthers fans, that's amazing. You know what I mean? That is a large compliment. And that's a responsibility that he's going to have to carry, man. I think he's up to the task though. I think he's good. You know, and I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to my man, Mr. T Money 1993. I have seen this guy grow, from being, you know, just a, you know, guy playing around in the TTC or whatever to, you know, stretching out and trying to do more serious things or whatever, you know, covering the Panthers and that kind of thing. I think it's a close personal friend of mine, and you know, I'm just watching this man grow. I think I got a feeling he's gonna go on and do some amazing things. Team Money, you keep on doing your thing, bruh. And the fact that, you know, it does not matter who you are. If you come across Team Money and you say the wrong thing to him, he gonna give you them straight facts. That's what he does, you know what I'm saying? And that's my boy, man. And I gotta give shouts out to him. There's other guys. There's so many people. I'm trying to give shouts to everybody, but there's a CPG Carolina Panthers guy. You know, he's been doing this thing, man. I think he just came along this season, representing hard. You know, there's King Tyke, there's Mario B. Wildin. Oh man, I know I'm gonna forget a lot of people, but those are the ones that they kind of jump off the page to me, the ones that I've been doing a lot of communicating with. You know, there's, you know, Susan on Twitter. There's Abby on Twitter. And I got a lot of Twitter friends and that kind of thing that kind of, you know, got our Panther community growing on Twitter and that kind of thing. But, you know, you guys have been awesome to me. And you guys have been, you know, it's been awesome to kind of hang out with you guys and celebrate and, you know, maybe even sometimes be frustrated together with you guys because, you know what? One of the things that I love about being a Carolina Panthers fan is the community of fans. And I think that you guys have been doing a fantastic job, especially this season after everything that we went through and that kind of thing, which we're going to get into a little bit. You know, and I don't really like beating a dead horse about it, but, you know, just to kind of put this whole season in perspective, we got to revisit a few things and that kind of thing. But I just wanted to make sure that I was able to acknowledge the folks that, kind of made an impact on for me this season, and, of course I always gotta, make sure that I recognize and give shouts out to my team, to my crew, to my family, the TeamBoydTV squad, man, my boy Glass from Get What It Was, even though, he been hard on my Panthers all season. And, I think he one of the ones who wanted to see us fail. But you know what, though? When time came for him to, tell it like it was, and, maybe when he was wrong about certain things about the Carolina Panthers, he came forward and he admitted that he made a mistake, and maybe he underestimated our squad and that kind of thing. But, and then there's JB, my brother JB, he, and I mean, maybe because he lives here in Carolina, maybe, some people on Twitter were saying that maybe he was getting a little soft toward the Carolina Panthers, even though he's a Ravens fan. But he's been a supporter, right? And, and that's been good. He's been straight up and truthful about the team. So, me and him, we talk all the time. A lot of times we'll talk before the show and discuss stuff. But he's been giving me a lot of insight and things during the season, that kind of thing. And then, of course, my beautiful wife, Vernie B., who's, she support me. So, she support my team. So, and she's been good. So, but that's my support system, man. JB, Glass, Vernie B, that's my squad, and they hold me down, and it's been great. This season has been awesome, and that kind of thing. But I want to talk to my Panther fam, though. I want to talk to my Panther fam, and I'm probably gonna get into that here in a minute. First, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and pay a little bit of a visit to our sponsor, because we got to keep it gangster like that. So we'll do that. We'll go ahead and see what's going on with our sponsor when we come back, man. We'll take a little trip back down memory lane of the season that we were supposed to be so bad, but we'll talk about it. We'll be right back. Check this out, fellas. If you're looking to build your online presence to gain a larger audience, there's only so much that social media can do for you. Although social media is a powerful way to build a following, there's nothing like having your own hosted website, and that's where Domain.com comes in. Domain.com offers the very best in web hosting services, and with plans starting at just under $4 a month, it's super affordable as well. And now, because you guys are faithful followers of Team Boyd TV's Black and Blue podcast, you can get yourself a sweet combo deal if you go to TeamBoydTV.com and click the Domain.com button. Once you click the button, you get redirected to the Domain.com promo page, where you sign up and use the promo code DOMFREE. That's DOMFREE. You get yourself a free domain. That's a free website that you can use to build your audience with. And Domain.com web hosting is packed with bonus features too. Check this out. All web hosting plans come with $100 Google AdWords bonus, $50 Yahoo/Bing search marketing credit, $50 in Facebook advertisement, and free YellowPages.com listing. And get this, a free toll-free phone number if you live in the United States. And if you're like me and you know absolutely nothing about website design, Domain.com even has the awesomely easy drag and drop site builder to get you up and running right away. So what are you waiting for? There's no excuse not to get your online presence rolling right now. Remember, go to TeamBoydTV.com, click the Domain.com button, and use the promo code DOMFREE, that's DOMFREE, to get your free domain to use for your website right now. The Black and Blue Podcast. So, from what I understand, if I'm taking if I'm looking back, I'm thinking that I think they told us we weren't supposed to win nothing, right? We were supposed to be bad. You know what I'm saying? We were supposed to, like they said that the Carolina Panthers were going to go from first to worst, right? They're going to go from first to worst. We were going to go from winning the division to being the worst team in the division. I think they projected us to win about 4 games, right? 3 or 4 games, I want to say. How did that work out? They didn't, it's funny looking back on this, right? It's funny looking back on this because especially early, in the offseason, man, when, Dave Gettleman had to make those tough decisions, and it's funny because I was watching his press conference yesterday and, and he was recollecting on what was going on. And he said, listen, it is going to be tough. This is going to be rough for all of us. And the thing is, you hear things like that back then, he's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And, and everybody was in a panic. Everybody was like, oh my God, what are they doing in Carolina? This looks crazy. And that kind of thing, and it was weird because I'm sitting there watching it and I was like, wow. But, just like I've said before, and I've said this before, I've said, hey, listen, those guys, your Brandon LaFells, who is still, his season is still going, by the way, but Brandon LaFell and Tay again, and who was Captain Monaland, and those other guys, all those guys who left, everybody was kind of caught up on what Carolina had achieved the year before, and they were like, oh, Carolina is awesome, this, that, and the third. But the reason why Carolina was so awesome, well, they weren't supposed to be awesome then either. They weren't supposed to be awesome at that time. But they ended up being awesome because those guys were playing for contracts because they knew that their contracts were coming up and it was going to be really, 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 really tough to stay in Carolina because, everybody know our economic situation as the GM Dave Gettleman put it. Everybody knew that we kind of didn't have no money. And our franchise quarterback's rookie contract was coming up, and there's a lot of weird things that had to happen. In the whole, then the Greg Hardy stuff happened, and then the Steve Smith situation. I got some things. I want to say some stuff about Steve Smith. I think I'll say it later. But during that time, it was very, very tumultuous for a lot of Carolina Panthers fans. And the people who were on the outside looking in was like, oh, my God, they are not trying to do anything. I actually even did a Black and Blue podcast that was titled, Is Carolina Trying to Tank the Season Away? And because it just looked like the GM was just, cleaning house. But you know what? I got to say, looking back on it, I'm kind of glad he did what he did because this is what it showed me. This is exactly what it showed me. It showed me, and Carolina have done that. They've done this 2 years in a row when they were expected to flop and just not do anything and tank and just be bad. The cool thing is that, I don't know if it's the magic of this team or just the spirit of this team or what it is or is the passion of the fans. I don't know what the case is. All I know is when they're supposed to do bad, when people expect Carolina to do bad, they figure out a way to turn it into something beautiful. Last season, we made to the playoffs for the first time in like 5 years or something like that. And, of course, it was Cam's first dance or whatever the case may be. It didn't turn out the way he wanted it to, this, that, and the third. And, for obvious reasons, I don't think he was ready. I mean, the experience factor was there, and that kind of thing. But this time around, the season starts and, they come out strong, even though Cam didn't even get a chance to even start in the first game because of all the off-season situations that he was going through, which further gave people reason to say Carolina ain't never going to be nothing. This season is a waste for Carolina. And the whole ankle surgery that everybody thought was going to be a really big deal, and he didn't have enough time to heal, and his timing on going to get the surgery was a little weird, and I don't know how that played out. But then the preseason injury with the ribs and stuff, against the New England Patriots or whatever, which forced him to miss the first week of the season. But again, one of them situations where it's not about superstars, man. It's not about one guy. It ain't about a Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, or Drew Brees or just one superstar guy. Backup quarterback Derek Anderson came out in that first week, man, and I think that first game showed that this was about a team. This wasn't about a bunch. One or two guys who were superstars on the team. This was about a team, man. Derek Anderson came out there, man, and just and I was watching this game and I was thinking to myself, this is kind of what I should be expecting from the squad this season. You know what I mean? Because everybody, you need it. Carolina is the kind of team that needs everybody to play in order to win. Everybody has to play together and everybody has to play well. There's no one person on this team that can put the team on their back and that kind of thing. Our team is not built that way. And I think after checking out this season or whatever, we can confirm that, right? Cam comes back, they win the second game, and then they lose, and then things kind of got rough, around October, early November, somewhere around in there. We lost a bunch of games in a row because of various factors, man. Number one, the injury bug was real, and for a lot of people who sit there and be like, oh my God, y'all's record is so bad. What was it, 3-8-1 at one point in time? But I saw things, man. Like they went toe to toe with the the Cincinnati Bengals, man, and the game ended in a tie. But New England, why I keep on saying New England? But Cincinnati was a formidable team at that time, which I think they were leading the division at that time, and they had only lost like 1 or 2 games at that time. Defense was ranked in the top 5 at that time. They were a good team, and for Carolina to kind of get up there and be able to go toe to toe with them was look, that showed me that these guys, I know what their record says. I know what the record says, okay? And people ain't got to keep reminding me about what the record was. I know what the record was, but to see them do that, I was like, these guys can play, and they want to play, and they can win. You know what I mean? They can win, if everything was going their way. Now, like I said, the injury bug was super serious for us. It hit us really, really hard. We lost a lot of people. We had a lot of new people. At one point in time, I think we started like somewhere around 16 rookies or something like that. It was a lot of young blood on the field. And a lot of teams took advantage of that. You know what I mean? And especially with those Baltimore games and the Baltimore game and the Pittsburgh Steelers games, I can remember vividly us just getting torn apart on the ground. Le'Veon Bell and freaking Justin Forsett completely and utterly destroyed the Carolina Panthers, man. And that was because there was no star. There was no star Lutalele. And again, I think that's another one of the reasons why Seattle had a nice little advantage over us, because Star wasn't playing in that game. But then there was other factors too. But at the same time, that injury bug plagued us, and it plagued us hard. And so we lost a bunch of games, and everybody, and I ain't gonna say everybody, because I follow it. I see everything on Twitter. I watch it, and there are some people on Twitter, man, and I'm not, when I first started doing this podcast today, I said, I am going to go at these people. But you know what though? If they wearing the colors, if they represent the black and blue, whatever their opinion is, even though it's negative and I don't agree with it, they're still Panther fans. So, they're entitled to it. You know what I mean? So, I'm not going to rip them apart like I thought I was going to do. But, there were people on Twitter who were saying a bunch of crazy stuff, man, calling out the offensive coordinator, calling out Cam Newton. They were just blaming, pointing fingers and whatnot, instead of seeing what was really going on. They was taking everything at face value instead of really, really seeing what was happening with this team. That young secondary, once they got healthy, man, but they've been Wickery and Trey Boston and freaking Josh Norman with his crazy self, man. These guys were balling out of control, man. To watch them pull off the stuff they were pulling off, man. I mean, I'm just sitting here just thinking about the one Josh Norman interception again and that Saints game. Freaking amazing. You know what I mean? Like, that's just pure talent. And this dude is young. You know what I mean? He got a lot of time left in the NFL. You know what I mean? So those are things that we can build on. And, and since and even though these guys are young, they're still playing at a very, very high level, which is promising to me. And again, watching the press conference with Ron Rivera the other day, he made a little reference to about the he made a reference about the Super Bowl, and because somebody asked him, what's his plans for the Super Bowl being postponed, so on and so forth. And he just let him know, hey, listen, man, because Ron Rivera said it a year ago. He's like, man, we're gonna reach the big dance in the next year or two. And and so and even though the path was really, really laid out really nicely for us this season, we weren't able to get it done. But if we come back stronger and we come back healthier, I think next year, man, a lot of teams are going to be in trouble, and that kind of thing. Because I understand that, especially thinking about last week, I was doing the Black and Blue podcast last week. There were an enormous amount of Seattle Seahawks fans, and shout out to the Seattle Seahawks fan base for even turning up. They came on a Carolina Panthers based podcast just to listen to what we had to say. And I took away two things from that. Number one, and and some people who listen to this, because I know a lot of fans that are not Carolina Panthers fans listen to my podcast. But the one thing I took away is that a lot of teams were concerned about Carolina, especially toward the end, especially when we started trying to make that playoff push and that kind of thing. A lot of teams became very, very, very concerned. And so people were saying, I've never in my life, and I've been doing internet stuff for a long time, but I've never in my life seen any Carolina Panthers fans dedicate whole entire 20-minute videos to another team or another team's fans. We are not just going to do that. We're above all that. But to see, now I understand, the way the trash talk circle work on YouTube, but that's different. I'm talking about teams like dudes who represent the Miami Dolphins, dudes that represent the Washington Redskins, dudes that represent the New Orleans Saints, who they would just take some time out of their life to sit and discuss the Carolina Panthers. That just showed me that they were super, super concerned about what this team was capable of accomplishing at that particular time. And you know what? I dare anybody to tell me that they wasn't nervous. Now, anybody who's not a Carolina Panthers fan, if you can sit there, you tweet me, and you can email me, you can, leave a comment or whatever the case may be, and you tell me that you weren't concerned about Carolina making a crazy run, you're lying. And you're lying to yourself, and you're lying to everybody else who listens to you talk, because you know for a fact that you were nervous about it. Now, that's one thing I took away from it. You know what I'm saying? The other thing I took away from it was the fact that, if a lot of people are paying attention to what Carolina is doing, that means that, our team is not the team that they thought they were. So they want to sit around and say things about Carolina. But if you notice, all throughout the season, the talk was about Carolina, that the team that's supposed to be from first to worst, the team that wasn't supposed to win before games, the team with the hobbled quarterback, with the ankle and rib injury, the team with, at one point, no running backs, a team which at one point had no wide receivers, a team that at one point had a mismatched hodgepodge patched together offensive line, a team that at one point had so many rookies in their defensive backfield that it looked like easy pickings for any quarterback who had any merit whatsoever. But it doesn't really matter, because y'all talked about us anyway. You still had something to say, and the Carolina Panthers was always on your tongue and always in your mouth. And you always want to talk about what Carolina was doing. And so, even teams with, these teams that are highly publicized, like the San Francisco 49ers, even with all of the stuff that it was the good season that the Baltimore Ravens was having in the beginning, they were still talking about the Carolina Panthers. Steve Smith up there acting a fool or whatever the case may be. And that just shows that, it's something special going on in Carolina, and y'all finally recognize it. We've seen it for years. We've known this, you know what I mean? Even though we hadn't made the playoffs in 5 years or whatever, we knew that the moment that Cam Newton showed up in Charlotte, something special was about to happen in Charlotte. And it's all a matter of time, man. And nobody knows when it's going to happen. I know that the time frame that is going to happen is getting more and more narrow. So you're going to see it at any minute now, any time, and within the next season or two, Carolina will be hoisting a Lombardi. And y'all heard me say it. I believe it'll happen. And I said last year that it may not happen this season, but it probably will happen next season. And watching these boys do what they did this season, I wouldn't doubt it. And then going back to the general manager Dave Gettleman's press conference, he was mentioning the fact he referenced the fact that last season they were shopping at the dollar store, and this season they feel he feel like they can move up in class a little bit, which means what I mean. We had to do what we had to do last season, the beginning of the season to make it work. We kind of had to put together some stuff. Not so much the case this go around. You know what I mean? We got a little bit of room. We can work a little bit. We can bring in, some people that we need to help strengthen our team. He mentioned, him and the coach, Ron Rivera, they both mentioned, our lack of speed. So they looking to bring some speedsters in here, man, and that kind of thing. We looking at talking about the growth of Cam Newton. We talking about, Kelvin Benjamin, who, Lord have mercy, Kelvin Benjamin, the amount of potential in this kid is staggering. Watching him do the things that he's done this season as a rookie are just downright amazing, and it's funny because everybody thought Kelvin Benjamin was going to be a bust, this, that, and the third, and he had some problems in some games where he dropped a few passes and this, that, and the third, but the upside is just, it's astonishing. You can't go nowhere but up with this kid. You know what I mean? Seeing the young guys come in like Fozzie Whitaker and, Philly Brown, these guys that's come in there and we're able to mesh and fit in, with the veterans, like your Thomas Davis and your Luke Kuechly, Cam, some of the other guys that were out there, Olsen and all them. Dude, I'm telling you, if you guys were not impressed with what happened in Carolina this season, prepare. I'm saying this early. At the end of the 2014 season. I'm saying this. Y'all gonna be in for something crazy in the 2015 season. I guarantee it. Now, when I come back, I am going to address a few things that I want to say in closing, for the season and whatnot, and then we're gonna get up out of here, man. We're gonna wrap up the Black and Blue podcast for the final broadcast of the season, and we'll be back in a couple months. But you know what? We're gonna go into this break, and then we'll discuss all that when we get back. Get social with TeamBoydTV. Like our Facebook page and join us every Sunday during the regular season for the TeamBoydTV Facebook halftime show. You can also follow us on Twitter at TeamBoydTV and at VernieB73. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at TeamBoydTV Turbo for all of our live shows, podcasts, among other things. Be sure to check out our Google Plus page for real-time status update and overall community discussion. TeamBoydTV is also on Instagram, Spreaker, and iTunes. Once again, thank you for watching TeamBoydTV. The Black and Blue Podcast. Well, check this out, right? The thing is this. This is what it comes down to, man. Like, what it really, really comes down to is two words. It comes down to two words. It comes down to two words. Keep pounding. And, a lot of other fan bases, they think that that's a funny thing that we say. And they say, they think that it's some weird little little catchphrase slogan that we use for our team. But man, that phrase means so much to so many people, here in Charlotte and the Carolinas and Panther fans everywhere. You know what I mean? They understand that it's everybody knows the main reason. They know where it came from. It came from the late great Sam Mills, man. When he found out he was diagnosed with cancer, man, he went and addressed the team and he was telling them, hey, listen, when I found out about this situation, man, it was two things I could do. I could quit or I could keep pounding. And he chose to keep pounding. And he was telling them, you keep, they warriors and y'all need to keep pounding on offense, keep pounding on defense, keep pounding on special teams, man. And we took that and turned it into a way of life, man. Like the Carolina Panthers have shown over the years that it does not matter what kind of odds we up against, man. Yeah, you can, all our wide receivers can leave, you know what I mean? And you can, try to, hurt our quarterback, man, and he goes and gets into car wrecks and the coach's house get caught on fire. And, then we all like running backs get injured and all this stuff that was going on, the point of it was to persevere, to not give up, not listen to what a lot of people have been saying. Like a lot of these people on ESPN, on NFL Network, and on all these other media outlets, and even the pundits on YouTube and on the blogosphere and on Twitter, and everybody got something negative to say. It does not matter. We tune them out, and we keep on keeping our eye on the prize, and we all have one goal. We want to get to the promised land as a team. We got a chance of playing the Super Bowl one time, and sadly we came up short. But since that day, we have never, ever strayed away from that thing, from that promise that we will keep pounding. We will keep pounding no matter what. And, the season before, with all the nonsense that was going on then, and nobody expected us to do anything, they kept pounding. They didn't listen to nobody. They didn't say, oh, well, we got this, that, and the third people coming into our stadium. It didn't matter. You know what I mean? They was going to keep pounding regardless. This season, man, after they lost about 4 games in a row, a lot of people was jumping ship. A lot of folks jumped off the bandwagon. A lot of people was like, you know what, I'm done with the Carolina Panthers. I'm finished. But the rest of us, man, the ones who are real, true, die-hard Panther fans, we kept pounding because we knew and we believed in our team, you know. And it's funny, you know, even looking back on it now, you know, how a lot of people were just, you know, were trying to bring me down personally. You know, at the end of the Seattle Seahawks game, you know, I'm on Facebook and, you know, I'm saying things on Facebook about the game. And, you know, Dallas Cowboys fans and you know, Steelers fans and other people were, you know, they were leaving comments on my posts and stuff, you know, and everybody was want to laugh and everybody was want to be like, oh, you all mad because your team lost in the playoffs, this, that, and the third. And I was like, nah, man, nah, you don't understand. You don't get it. I am not mad. I am not pissed off. I'm not sad. You know, I feel good because, number one, you were the same people who told us that we weren't supposed to be here. You were the same ones who told us that we, under no circumstances, would make it here. You know, and not only did we make it to the playoffs, we won a playoff game. You know what I mean? And listen, truth be told, we went up against the Super Bowl champions, man. A team that was like far and clearly light years better than us, man. Like, that team is so good. You know what I mean? Like, that's why they champions. You know what I mean? And you can't say that about the Dallas Cowboys. They're not champions. You know what I mean? You can't say that about the San Francisco 49ers. They're not the Super Bowl champions. You know what I mean? You can't say this about the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are not Super Bowl champions. You know, and so for them to come at me and say, "Oh, you mad?" No, dude. No. I am 100% proud to be a Carolina Panthers fan. I am 100% proud to watch and cheer and you know, experience everything that my team had went through this season. I'm proud of those guys. I'm proud of the coaches. I'm proud of the growth of the quarterbacks and a lot of the young guys stepping up. I'm proud of these guys who are walk-ons or undrafted free agents being able to make a difference to this team and to the performance of the team this season. Nothing for me to be mad at, man. You know, and I tell Panther fans all the time, there's no need to be upset. Now, if we had just folded up the tents and packed it in and took it to the crib, you know, mid-October, you know, early November, then we'd be talking about something different. You feel what I'm saying? It's been a different story. But they didn't give up. You know, they felt like they could do this. It was, especially seeing, you know, what our division foes were doing. They clearly didn't want it as bad as we did. They clearly didn't have the heart to take the next step. We did. You know what I mean? And, you know, when I told Atlanta Falcons fans, I told them, I said, listen, y'all ain't got the nuts to go to the playoffs. Y'all don't. You know what I mean? Y'all ain't got the nuts to do it. Y'all soft, y'all weak, and, you know, you talk too much. And y'all ain't got what it takes to go to the next level. I told Saints fans, you know what? Y'all talk a lot of crap, but y'all ain't got the heart. Y'all ain't got the heart to make it to the next level. Y'all bickering amongst yourselves and y'all blaming each other for this, that, and the third and all that, and you think you're superstars. You know what I mean? Y'all ain't got what it takes to take the next step. And Tampa, please, ain't even worried about them. You know what I mean? And to everybody else, you know, these random Dolphins fans and these random Redskins fans who had all this stuff to say. You know, y'all were at home way before we were. You know, talking about the couch. Y'all have been saving that spot on that couch since October. You know what I mean? Y'all have been saving it for since October. And everybody else got on that couch and we were still playing. You know, even Dallas Cowboys fans who I really ain't got no beef with, but they talk a lot, you know, talking about the couch and this, that, and the third. And instead of worrying about their own situation and worrying about what they were trying to do, they worrying about what we doing. You know what I mean? And so, you know, and even though they had this miraculous 12-5 or 12-4 record, whatever they had, they went on the couch at the same exact time that we did. We didn't get eliminated no sooner than they did. So they can't say that they that much better than us because we made it to the same exact point in the season. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. You know, and it's one of them things where I felt like after you know, this exhausting season. I mean, it was draining emotionally. The whole thing, just being here. You know, I can sit back when Cam Chancellor got that interception, I was like, you know, it felt like some weight had been lifted off my chest. I was like, you know what? Look, Carolina, I understand. Y'all ain't never going to give up. Y'all ain't never going to stop fighting. But, you know what I mean? y'all don't have to prove nothing to nobody. Y'all don't have to prove nothing to nobody. Y'all guys can go back to Charlotte with y'all's your head held high and with the utmost dignity because, first of all, y'all playing against Super Bowl champions. And for a minute, we were in there. We was in that fight with them. We were, things kind of got out of control midway, late in the game. But we were in there. We did a lot better against that Super Bowl champions than a lot of other teams can say they did. You know what I mean? And and it's one of them things, man. I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel sad. I'm not mad at nobody. I'm not saying, oh my God, Cam throwing them interceptions and D'Angelo Welby, Stewart, whoever who was that fumble the ball? I don't know. Stewart fumble the ball or Burson with I'm not mad at these people, man, because they were doing what they believed in. You know what I mean? And sometimes, man, when you are that focused on winning a football game, and especially when you think about trying to block out a lot of haters and try to dispute a lot of things that people have been saying about you, sometimes your mind is playing a little bit ahead of where your body is, and I ain't making no excuses. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, Big Q ain't mad. You know what I'm saying? Big Q ain't sad. Big Q is happy, and I'm celebrating what my boss was able to do and that kind of thing. So, all in all, I thought it was an awesome season, man. I think we did a lot of things that we weren't expected to do. And after going through that horrifying slump, to be able to bounce back like that, win the division, go into the playoffs, win the wild card game, then face the Super Bowl champions and put up a decent fight like that. We did not lay down in that game. We kept fighting and that kind of thing. So, all in all, it was beautiful. I enjoyed every second of the season, even in our defeats and that kind of thing. So it's been one of them things where, in a way, I'm kind of glad it's over, but at the same time, I enjoyed it to the max. I really, really did. And that kind of thing. So, we're going to be going away from the Black and Blue podcast for a little while. And, it's going to be kind of hard for me to step away from my Panther brethren and all my Panthers brothers and sisters, man. But I will be stepping away. We still got things going on TeamBoydTV Live. We got 2 episodes left, one which will be premiering tonight, and then we'll do the Super Bowl pick show, that kind of thing. We'll shut TeamBoydTV down for a little bit. We'll probably be back in the spring, covering a bunch of stuff like that. Hey, listen, Panther Nation, this has been real. Panther Nation, this has been awesome. And, I appreciate all you guys' support that y'all been showing me and this Black and Blue podcast. You guys have been tremendous, you know what I mean? But you know what? All good things come to an end, you know what I mean? And this is going to be the last one for the season, man. And as always, man, y'all guys can follow me on Twitter at TeamBoydTV. Hey, I'm your boy Big Q, and I'm up out of here, man. Y'all take it easy. Peace. The Black and Blue Podcast.